used a lot of time struggling, finding my way out here, and finally over half my life is lived, and I have all of a sudden this marvelous place, but I still don't have enough time. I have the place, but I don't think I'll ever have enough time, and that's what saddens me. Sometimes I wish I could live forever.
This is a work in progress. This is the story of a journey. And because it has become my journey, it will always be a work in progress. I will dance it until I take my last breath. When that curtain closes, well, I hope someone else will take up the choreography, and that like me, they will find in it a holy grail. Because you see, the grail, it was never really about a cup, or an object, or a destination for that matter. The gift of the grail is in the quest. So I was 5 years old, and I got off the school bus and I went into the kitchen. I found my mother entertaining a group of women. They smelled of hairspray, and their heavy lipstick left red half-moon stains on my mother's beautiful white china. But one of the women had a postcard of a dancer who had bought a theater in Death Valley. And this dancer, she would put out a sign, then she would put on her makeup, she would put on her costume, and she would dance. Even if nobody came. What kind of a fool would do something like that? Said one of the women. And even though I was just a little girl, I heard my answer from my soul. Me. I would.
I've been on Broadway. I danced for people who told me what to do, not what I wanted to do. I was 29 years old when I started. I'm going to quit Broadway and strike out on my own. Traveling through the desert, the space and the freedom, the sound of the wind. I loved it.
I am a child of the desert. When I stepped off the school bus that day that I discovered Marta, I was living with my family in Apple Valley, California. So I can tell you that one thing I detest above all other things is the smell of a hot desert school cafeteria. Maybe it's better these days. I would do anything I could to avoid it, and the sound of the children yelling one on top of the other. So I would go out to the playground where I could swing, just me, back and forth, and back and forth, until I went into a kind of reverie where I could dance with handsome princes and tell jokes in foreign languages that made everybody laugh. Until the lunch lady caught me. It turns out that children are not allowed unsupervised on the playground. And she sent me in to wash the sand from my hands and my face. But I could hear her speaking to my teacher, and they said, "What kind of a fool would do something like that?" And I said, "Me." I would.
We stopped at Death Valley Junction, and the town was falling to pieces. I saw this building at the end of the road. I looked through a hole. I saw a sunbeam shining on the floor. I noticed a small stage. Immediately I fell in love with it. All my dances were classical. So they kept me in a world that I wish existed. And if an audience didn't come, I would perform anyway. I was in my own world. It was mystical.
In the desert, to find the shed skin of a snake has always been a sign of good luck. It is a symbol of transformation. You see, a snake, she sheds her skin when she has grown too large to contain herself inside of it.
I was in here all the time, working, practicing, painting, sewing costumes. We were married and I was a wife, and wives just don't, that's not expected. They're supposed to cook a nice dinner and be available for anything the husband wants. And suddenly the title of wife terrified me. It meant obligations, it meant obedience, it meant, stop what you're doing to please someone else if it's necessary, which is something I never had to do. I felt very guilty when I was told that I left him out, and that guilt began to show in my performances.
No one likes to give in to being older. When your body refuses to obey.
The fragility of the body speaks to us of time. The Dying Swan has always been considered to be a dance about our battle with death. And it's true, we do all face the ultimate mortality. But in fact, in the lifetime of a woman, she dies many deaths, born again. The phoenix from the flame, the daughter, the wife, the artist, the dust devil who reshapes the landscape. That's the journey. That is the quest. Outside of this opera house, this sanctuary that Marta created for herself, there is ages of a dance. And that's a shame, because it is impermanence. It is that journey from our strength to our fragility. It is the ephemeral nature of dance that makes it so beautiful. We will not have these bodies forever. It's what we do with our time in them that counts. So, Marta, let's dance our own version of the Dying Swan, which is not a swan song. our journey, our quest, our holy grail, our shed skin, our transformation into the women, the artists, the storytellers we were always, always meant to be.
I dream about it at night. I dream that I'm dancing the steps that I used to do. I feel no pain at all.